Hi, good morning everyone. It's Liz Davis. I am a nutritionist and gut health specialist. I help busy women fix their IBS, bloating, digestive issues, and give them guidance so they can get back to feeling their best again and enjoying life as they should do. So today I was going to talk about how you can consume too much healthy food sometimes and what the balance is. Someone asked this question the other day, and it's a really valid point because sometimes when we start a new healthy eating or exercise regime, we can go a little bit over the top with enthusiasm and end up going back the other way and having far too much of a good thing. So how do we know if we are having too much of a good thing? So I'm going to do a rundown of 3 examples here. We'll look at water, spinach and tuna, and how they, although are very healthy foods which we need to be eating, they won't do us any harm in moderation. There are some signs to look for in case you might be going a bit over the top with them. Okay, so start with water then. So the main problem is with water is we need it. We need it for so many things in our body. We need it to regulate our temperature, to stop us getting constipation, to get the toxins out. Pretty much every bodily function that needs water to do its job properly. So it's absolutely essential that we do get enough of it. But where the message is hammered home so much that we mustn't dehydrate, especially in certain circumstances, say if we're exercising in hot weather or we're going trekking in a very hot country, people will be saying, you know, it's very important to drink enough water, otherwise you'll get dehydrated, you'll get ill, blah, 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 which we absolutely will. But the trouble is then we can end up forcing down the water because we're so scared of getting dehydrated. We end up with too much. And what happens then is that the electrolytes in our system can get too diluted. So the electrolytes being sodium, potassium, for example, we need a certain level of them to function properly as well. So we would, when our sodium levels drop too low, we end up with a condition called hyponatremia, which is absolutely what we want to avoid. It's going to have, you know, really disastrous consequences sometimes. So, so how would you know then if you've drunk too much water? Well, you would know you wouldn't feel very well. You would probably have nausea and vomiting. You'd have a headache. You'd be in that state of terrible confusion, muscle weakness, cramps, etc. You would also probably be in the state of you would be forcing water down. You wouldn't feel thirsty. So I was going to just look at how you know how much to drink. So first, a good indicator that you need to have a drink, obviously. We want to avoid feeling thirsty because that means we're already a little bit dehydrated. So if we can catch it before we get to that point where the thirst kicks in, that would be a good thing to do. But the best indicator really is to look at the colour of your urine. So you want to be aiming for urine which is very pale yellow colour. If it's clear, if it's completely clear, that's a good sign that you're probably drinking a little bit too much, so you can ease back on that a bit. Maybe don't drink something for a couple of hours and then start drinking moderately again. If your urine then is getting very dark, the darker it is, the more dehydrated you are. So the best way to monitor this is to keep an eye on your urine, avoiding the very clear urine, and the darker urine. Obviously, if you're taking B vitamins, that's going to throw a spanner in the works because you're going to have bright yellow urine, whatever you're drinking. So if you come off them for a couple of days and monitor your urine, then that will give you an indicator of where you're at. Okay, so then the other question is, should you just drink water or is it beneficial to drink other things too? Again, a very good question, because we do have it hammered home all the time that we need to drink water, which we absolutely do. But absolutely, it's not going to hurt you at all to have other things mixed in there as well. So tea, coffee, if you tolerate caffeine, that's fine to have a bit of those. They provide antioxidants and electrolytes, sodium, tiny amounts of those, and other nutrients too. So I would definitely use water as your main drink, but absolutely mix in other things too. as long as you're avoiding sugary drinks is the main thing. Those are the one sort of category of drink you absolutely don't need. So avoid those, mainly drink water, keep an eye on the colour of your urine, and then you should, you're on track, you're not drinking too much. If you've just started an exercise regime, for example, you may be going overboard with the water consumption. So keep an eye on your urine, and that will be a fairly good indicator for you that you're not going overboard. Okay, so that's the water. The next thing I was going to look at was greens, particularly green leafy vegetables, because they're another health food that when we start on a health regime we can go overboard with, particularly the trend with green smoothies. And while those are great, too much green leafy vegetables like spinach can overload your system with oxalates, and oxalates are what's going to create the kidney stones, etc. Can cause other problems as well, but the main one would be kidney stones. Now, if you cook your greens, you're going to destroy about 80% of the oxalates. So cooked greens aren't so much a problem. It's the raw greens that can be an issue for you. So you would need to eat quite a lot of greens to kill you, to be honest. You would have to have probably about 6 or 7 pounds of them, which is going to be very unlikely. But at the same time, if you rein it in a little bit, particularly if you're prone to kidney stones, if you're prone to that kind of thing, I would probably avoid raw spinach and raw leafy greens altogether. Stick to cooking them. And they're still very healthy, still going to provide you with lots of nutrients. And if you're fine, if you don't suffer with kidney stones or anything like that, just put a small amount of uncooked leafy veg in your smoothies if you like to eat those. Okay, so it's just something else to be aware of. The next one I was going to look at is, very quickly, tuna, because tuna, again, is a great source of protein. The tinned tuna has all the fatty acids that are beneficial to us taken out of it, so it's not great. It's still a great source of protein, but you don't want too much. The thing is with fish, the tunas are very, very big, so they're eating all the fish that are smaller than them, and the very small fish are eating all the pollution out of the ocean. So the higher up the fish food chain you go, the more polluted the fish, basically. So smaller fish are going to be healthier for you than bigger fish. So stuff like sardines are going to be much healthier than the bigger fish like shark and tuna, etc. Mercury would be the big problem there, the heavy metals that these fish are going to contain. So with tuna, I would probably not eat too much of it. I would definitely not have it as your main source of fish. Mix it up. If you like tin fish, try sardines, things like that. Mackerel again, they're getting to be a bigger fish, so I wouldn't eat tons of that either. Maybe just, mix them up. Sardines, the smaller fish, are going to be much more beneficial to you than the bigger ones. Not to say don't eat tuna, but maybe just have it once every couple of weeks or once every month or something like that, because it is still a useful food. Okay, that's all from me. I hope that helps you. And if you do have any other questions, then do please I shall pop a link to my diary in the comments. So book yourself in for a quick chat if you have any other questions. And of course, if you know anybody else who would benefit from this information, then please do share so the information gets to the people who need it. Okay, I shall see you next time. Bye.